Hello, 9th Bangalore Short Film Festival 2020. I'm Raghul Sukumar, the writer and director of Chips. So, talking about the initial idea of this film was my final semester project, and I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and push my boundaries and see where this film takes me. So, this is where I decided to make a single continuous take short film. Then the idea of the story was built on how there is an urgency to tell these stories that went unheard. I think that was the real driving factor. There were numerous roadblocks, but to name a few, getting the cast, crew, and the location was the biggest hurdle I had to face. And the budget was also a huge factor as this is a self funded student film. I couldn't lock down the cast until 3 days before the shoot and the crew like a week before. So I was basically going with the flow, hoping everything would be all right and it'll fall into place. And I must say the location was a blessing because I got the location for free to shoot. It was a driving institute, and I had to get a permission from my college, and they just gave it for free. And all I had to do was convert it into a realistic police station. Managing the people on the set was something really new to me, as this is my first film. But I took it as a challenge to see how I can converse with people, how to make them understand the script, as well as get them to act in the way that I wanted to. I had to bring a cast, half of which had no prior experience. They were like the people that I knew and people around me, or the people who were employed at my place. So for me, this was the big task to make them act. As for the financial aspect of the film, I've been saving up for a long time since this is my final project and I wanted to do justice to the film. As for the financial aspect of the film, I had been saving up money for this film for the past 1 year. I'm a photographer and a designer, so the earnings kind of helped me do justice to the script that I made, and the rest of the funding was supported by my brother and my father, which kind of was a great help. The major challenge was to complete the shoot within 2 days because that's the amount of days that the place was available, and I got the permission to shoot, and I could afford the renting equipments for only 1 day, so I could rehearse on the day one, and the shooting happened on day two. So the first day went on preparing the entire place, converting the entire place into a police station, and like rehearsing with the actors, getting them to learn the dialogues, their movements, how the camera moves, the lighting patterns, and everything. So the biggest challenge came the next day where we had only 3 hours to shoot because the sunlight was uh, had to be perfect. The entire film was set during 5 o'clock, so we had around 3 hours to shoot, and having to do that in a single take meant that we had to rehearse everything perfectly and nothing can go out of place. So that's why I think certain things didn't go according to the script, but we managed to shoot what we wanted to shoot. A few things that had minor changes from the script have to be dialogues, because I think going with a single continuous take, I think you can go in with like a rough script, at least like rough dialogues. Another thing what was different from the script was the camera movement. In the script, I had written it in a way the camera pans really slow, exposing one thing at a time, but in the actual film we had to go with a really fast camera movement because the camera needed some sort of motivation for it to move from one place to the other, and like focusing on one subject to the other, and to make it really seamless. So we kind of gave the camera a personality with some hand held shakes, and it kind of replicates the camera being observer of the action that's happening around it. So I think that's one thing that was a major change from the script. I really didn't have a target audience in mind. I just wanted to make what I really wanted and what I wanted to say, and I think that came out pretty well in terms of the film. I feel the single continuous shot is something that would be appealing to the audience, and I think that would be the unique selling point of the film. I feel there's a growing urgency to talk about these issues like police brutality, custodial violence, symbolic violence, and structural violence. I think this is the reflection of the police system in crisis, which is a huge threat to human rights. My intention is not to showcase the police in bad light, but to voice the story that actually went unheard and to show the failing systems that are in place. My message to other filmmakers or encouraging other new filmmakers would be to push their boundaries and experiment more and to push themselves out of their comfort zone, because when you push yourselves out of your comfort zone, something new comes out of it, and I think that's totally worth it. I know it's a really hard time for everyone during this pandemic. I hope everybody's well and safe, and I thank the Bangalore Short Film Festival for this opportunity. Thank you.